everyday activities include sitting, standing, walking, running, cycling, chewing, smiling, and lot more. Most of us have become health conscious now, and workout is a part of our daily life. It is a must to keep our bodies strong. All these activities are impossible without muscles. There are about more than 600 muscles in our body. Not only the actions which are done voluntarily, but the involuntary actions are also happening with the help of muscles. The food we eat pass through the digestive system with the help of muscles, without which digestion won't happen. Our heart beats with the help of muscles. The day when it stops contracting and relaxing, that will be the last day of our life. Our nervous system controls the contraction and relaxation of both voluntary and involuntary muscles. There are mainly three types of muscles in our body. Skeletal muscles are attached to the bones and they are under our conscious control. Cardiac muscles are located in heart and is responsible for the pumping of blood throughout our body. Smooth muscles are found in the digestive system and blood vessels. Let's get into the details. The skeletal muscle is a muscle that is attached to a skeleton or a bone. These muscles are attached to bone by a structure called tendon. They are actually fibrous connective tissue and are made up of collagen. You might be familiar with ligaments. Ligaments connect one bone to another bone, but tendons connect muscle to the bone. And the main part of muscle is called muscle belly. Each muscle is surrounded by a connective tissue layer called the epimysium. Epimysium is again surrounded by another layer called fascia. This fascia helps to hold the muscle in place. A single muscle cell called the muscle fiber. There are around hundreds of muscle fibers bundled inside a muscle. These are bundles of muscle fibers. Each bundle of muscle fiber is called fasciculus. This fasciculus is surrounded by another connective tissue layer called the perimysium. Inside the fasciculus, the muscle cell or muscle fiber is surrounded by a connective tissue layer called endomysium. Surrounding these muscle fibers, endomysium is present. Muscle fibers have many nuclei. These help in the production of proteins and enzymes which are essential for the functioning of muscles. It contains endoplasmic reticulum which is called sarcoplasmic reticulum and mitochondria. The sarcoplasmic reticulum stores and releases calcium ions. The plasma membrane of the muscle fiber is known as sarcolemma. Inside the sarcolemma, the cytoplasm is there which is called the sarcoplasm. Inside the muscle fiber, structures called myofibrils are there which are long filaments run parallel to each other. The myofibrils contain sarcomeres. They are the smallest functional unit of skeletal muscle. The region of myofibril between two Z lines or Z disc is called sarcomere. These are the Z lines or Z discs. And there are two types of filaments present in sarcomere. The light filaments or thin filament and thick filaments. The thin filaments are at the actin filaments. They are made up of actin, and thick filaments are the myosin filament. The area where only the thin filaments are present is called the I band, and the area where only the thick filaments are present, that is called the H zone. And the region between these two Z lines, this area is called the sarcomere. Sarcomere contain both the actin filament and the myosin filament. And M line, this M line is formed of cross-connecting elements of cytoskeleton. Titin filaments are also there. Titin filaments are anchored on the Z line. These light filaments or actin filaments are also anchored on the Z line. Let's understand how the muscles contract and relax. The contraction of muscles is done by the sliding of thin filament against thick filament. We know that thin filament is the actin filament and thick filament is the myosin filament. This myosin filament has a myosin head, and this myosin head has two binding sites, one for ATP and one for the actin filament. Likewise, this actin filament has a myosin binding site, but this myosin binding site is blocked by a protein called tropomyosin. Another protein called troponin is placed on the tropomyosin and it helps to keep the tropomyosin in its position. This troponin is a complex protein of troponin T, troponin C and troponin I. When the nervous system sends signals, these signals travel through the motor neurons and reaches an area called the neuromuscular junction. This neuromuscular junction is actually a synapse between the neuron and the muscles. When the action potential reaches the axon terminals, we know that there are vesicles present in the axon terminals. These vesicles contain neurotransmitters. When action potential reaches the axon terminals, these vesicles releases the neurotransmitters into the synapse. These neurotransmitters are mainly acetylcholine and there are receptors present on the plasma membrane, that is the sarcolemma of the muscle. These receptors are acetylcholine receptors. This acetylcholine from the synapse now gets bind to the receptors, that is the acetylcholine receptors on the sarcolemma. We just discussed that there are calcium deposits present on the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and when the neurotransmitters, that is the acetylcholine, binds to the acetylcholine receptors, there will be a calcium flow from the sarcoplasmic reticulum into the sarcoplasm, and when the amount of calcium increases in the sarcoplasm, this calcium will bind to the troponin protein which is present on the actin filament. This will result in a configuration change of the tropomyosin. We know that tropomyosin blocks the myosin binding site of actin. So when the configuration change happens, this will result in the exposure of myosin sites in the actin. Now this myosin can bind with the actin, but for this binding, myosin needs some energy. We know that the myosin head has two binding sites, that is one for ATP and one for the actin filament, and here the ATP is now hydrolyzed into ADP, an inorganic phosphate. This reaction will give the energy for myosin to bind or cross-link with the actin filament, and this actin filament will move in this direction. When another ATP gets bind to the myosin head, this myosin head will get detached from the actin filament. Again, this ATP is hydrolyzed into ADP, an inorganic phosphate, and this will give the energy for the myosin head to bind with the actin filament, and this process continues. As a result, the actin filament from this side move in this direction, and from this side it will move in this direction. As a result, the Z lines, these are the Z discs or Z lines, these Z lines will come close to each other, and now this is the A band area. So the length of the A band area is now reduced. This is the contraction of the muscles. When the signal stops, there will be a backflow of calcium from sarcoplasm into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. There will not be any more calcium to bind with the troponin protein, and there won't be any cross-linking between the myosin and actin, and the muscle fibers will go back to its original position. This is the relaxed state of the muscles. As we now understood the structure and working of skeletal muscles, let's move on to the next type of muscles, the cardiac muscles. The cardiac muscles are muscles of heart. They are also called myocardium. They are involuntary muscles, not under the control of our will. Cardiac muscles are somewhat similar to skeletal muscles, and the cardiac muscle cells are called cardiomyocytes. You can see the contraction of cardiomyocytes. They contain the sarcomeres, which are the contractile units. They contain the dark and light bands of myosin and actin. Cardiac muscles have rhythmic contractions, and this is responsible for the pumping action of heart. Heart pump blood to the lungs to get it oxygenated, and all the other parts of the body to supply oxygen and nutrients. Each cardiac muscle cell contains a central nucleus, and the cells are connected end to end by intercalated discs. This is one cell, and this cell is connected to the next cell by the intercalated discs. As the cells are joined each other, the cardiac muscle cells have a branched network in the heart. Adjacent to the intercalated discs, there are gap junctions which allow the action potential to travel from one myocyte to another. The one myocyte is here, another myocyte is here, and there will be a gap junction. And through these gap junctions, the action potential can travel from one myocyte to the other myocyte. As in skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles also contain sarcoplasmic reticulum and mitochondria. But compared to skeletal muscle, cardiac muscles or cardiac sarcoplasmic reticulum contain less calcium. When the action potential enters the cell through the gap junction, there will be a flow of calcium from the sarcoplasmic reticulum into sarcoplasm. This calcium will bind to the troponin protein which is present on the actin filament, and as a result, the conformation of tropomyosin changes. This will expose the myosin binding site of actin filament. Now the ATP is present in the myosin head is now hydrolyzed into ADP and inorganic phosphate. This reaction will give the energy to the myosin head to cross-link with the actin filament, and this actin filament will slide into this direction. From here, the actin filament will slide in this direction, and the Z discs or Z zones will come close to each other as in skeletal muscle, and the length of the A band is reduced. Now this is the contraction of the cardiac muscles. Again, when ATP bind to the myosin head, this myosin will detach from the actin filaments, and this process continues. When the nerve impulse stops, the calcium will flow from sarcoplasm into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. There won't be any calcium to bind with the troponin protein, and there won't be any cross-linking between the myosin and actin filament, and this is the relaxed state of the muscle. These contractions are responsible for the pumping of blood from the heart. When the cardiac muscle will stop contraction and relaxation, the person will die. The next type of muscle is the smooth muscle, which are present in the digestive system and blood vessels. Smooth muscles are involuntary muscle. It has spindle-shaped cells with a centrally located nucleus. It contracts slowly when compared to cardiac and skeletal muscle. Much of the digestive system constitutes smooth muscles. Smooth muscle does not have a striated appearance like cardiac and skeletal muscle. Instead, the actin and myosin fibers are arranged in angles to each other. This will be the myosin filaments, and this will be the actin filaments. Like this is the appearance of myosin and actin in the smooth muscle. The skeletal and cardiac muscle is contracted by the activation of troponin, as we just discussed. Smooth muscles does not contain troponin. So the smooth muscle contraction is done by the activation of myosin. There are two types of neurotransmitters which bind to the receptors in the sarcolemma of the smooth muscles. The neurotransmitter from parasympathetic nervous system is the acetylcholine, and noradrenaline is the neurotransmitter from sympathetic nervous system. This is the plasma membrane of the muscle, that is the sarcolemma, and there are present the calcium channels. And when these neurotransmitters will get bind to the receptors which are present in the sarcolemma, there will be a calcium flow from the extracellular fluid into the sarcoplasm. And from the sarcoplasmic reticulum also there will be a small amount of calcium is released into the sarcoplasm. Now when the amount of calcium is high in the sarcoplasm, it will bind to a protein called calmodulin. This calcium will bind to calmodulin and they form a complex. As a result, the configuration of calmodulin changes. It becomes activated. The activated calmodulin is this. Now the calcium bind to it and it will form a complex. This calcium calmodulin complex now will bind to MLCK, that is the myosin light chain kinase. Here the calmodulin is now bind to this myosin light chain kinase. This will form a complex. This complex will now bind to the myosin head. This is myosin head. Now the MLCK complex will bind to the light chain of the myosin head in which ATP is present. ATP is here. Now this ATP is converted into ADP and inorganic phosphate. From this reaction, this myosin head will get the energy to bind with the actin filament. As we said earlier, there is no troponin present in the smooth muscle, so the myosin binding site of actin filament is free now. Now this myosin head will be like this, and this myosin head can now bind with the actin filament, and as a result this actin filament will go in this direction, and from the other end it will go in this direction, and this is the contraction of smooth muscles. And when the nerve impulse stops, there won't be more calcium to bind with calmodulin, and there won't be any complex forming, and there will be no cross-linking of myosin and actin filament, and this is the relaxed state of the muscles. The muscles will go back to its original position. That's it about the muscular system. If you like this video, please share it with your friends. If you have any queries, put it in the comment box. Thank you.